Price School of Education. Near and dear to my heart is the Price School of Education. This group was required to complete a minimum of 72 days and 500 hours in classrooms in preparation for shaping the next generation of Eagles. Across 14 residents, that means we spent a minimum of 1,008 days and 7,000 hours in a classroom this semester alone. As an English teacher, I find this next stat incredible. The 5-page paper is a staple of the college class repertoire. At a minimum, we must take 4 classes a semester for 4 years. I know a lot of us did more. With that in mind, if we typed just 1 paper for class, it would add up to 9,536 essays that we have typed right here. Yeah. That is a minimum of 47,680 total pages, minimum. Now, as our time to leave the nest draws closer, there's always a natural pause of uncertainty before beginning the great leap. I ask you not to fear the fall, but instead be prepared to fly. This accomplishment, this degree, is a badge that proclaims to the world that we were tested, we were challenged, we overcame our valleys, and now we're prepared to soar. Never forget this day as a testament to what you are capable of. Having been blessed to serve with some of the most distinguished men and women in my time in the military, I recognize greatness and potential when it sits in front of me. Class of 2024, we did it. Congratulations, and go Eagles.
Those are some astounding numbers, Grandpa. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I'd like to recognize the chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Phil Landrum. Phil, will you please stand and so that we can encourage you with our applause? It is my great pleasure to introduce Zane Hedge to you. I first met Zane via Zoom in 2020, when some of you may have entered the university at that time as freshmen, and he was the speaker that was supposed to be here on campus but was not able to be here because of COVID-19. So we found it fitting that 4 years later, we invite that same speaker back to Reinhardt University. Zane Hedge is an attorney from Douglasville, Georgia. He has been in practice since 2014 and works as a partner in his father's law firm, Hedge Law Office. Zane is a graduate of Reinhardt University, 2011. Can I get a cheer for that? After graduation, he went to Charleston School of Law and graduated in 2013. Passing the bar, he focused on building his practice and serving his community. He is a current member of the Leadership Douglas, the class of 2024, and the Gate City Bar Association. He's been a past president of both the Douglas County Bar Association and Douglas County Rotary Club. Great club. He's also a lecturer at Kennesaw State University on criminal justice practice and procedure. He's proud to have been a youth mentor for over 8 years and a youth leader in his church. His greatest accomplishment, his pride and joy, has been coaching and volunteering with mock trials for almost a decade. Currently, he is running for Douglas County Superior Court Judge. Will you give a great Reinhardt welcome for Zane Hedge? Zane?
Thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning, class of 2024. You made it. What a momentous occasion. As you turn the page on this chapter of your lives and start a new one, I want to leave you with, hopefully, a little humor, a little wisdom, and a little encouragement. Let me start by asking y'all a series of questions. What is your purpose? In other words, what is your why? What is your vision? What would you like to see more of in the world? What would you like to see less? How do you plan to get your vision off the ground? What steps are you taking? What kind of help will you need to accomplish your dreams? I know each of you had a vision to graduate college, and here you are. Now, what's the next path you must take to further your journey? These are the kind of questions that must be answered for you to push on. Your life is your story. And you've got to be prepared to keep writing until your story is finished. You must be prepared to plan your next steps and to accomplish your goals, to leave your individual and unique footprint in the world. Now, these next steps need not be overwhelming. After all, God gave you all you need. The only thing to which you must hold fast are these three words: you are capable. When I was set to graduate, I had one semester left to plan. I already had all the credits I needed, so I figured I'd take some electives, some shorter, less rigorous classes, get a few more A's, and just cruise to graduation. Any fellow English majors in here? Okay. So y'all know Dr. Joy Farmer. Okay. Well, you know where I'm going then. For those who don't know Dr. Farmer, she's an English professor who has a reputation of being stern, of being a hard grader, and overall, of being merciless in her expectations of her students. But for those who have taken her classes, she's also known to be one of the most passionate and invested professors. Dr. Farmer helped me apply to law school. She helped me create a writing sample, all the good stuff. So she approaches me my final semester, and apparently she'd heard that I hadn't planned on taking any English classes. I'm not exactly sure how that information got out, but I'm not going to be having a conversation with the humanities department. For those of y'all who know Dr. Farmer, she's incredibly candid when she speaks. I'll never forget it. The conversation went like this. She says to me, "Zane, I hear you're not taking any English courses this last semester." Well, you know, I figured I'd take some classes that I hadn't had the ability to take, that I couldn't fit into my schedule. You know, try some different things before I graduate. She says, "Okay, but will you be taking my Southern Literature class?" As an aside, she wasn't actually asking if I was going to take it. It was more of a strong suggestion. "You know, Dr. Farmer, I hadn't thought about it. Do you think it will help?" I already knew the answer. "There will be several reading assignments, and if you want to go to law school, you've got to be prepared to read every day, prioritize your time, and prime your mind for the workload." Okay, well, that makes sense. How many reading assignments will there be, roughly? "We'll go through about 27 novels. I'm still deciding which anthologies we'll touch also." Now, at this point, heavy sigh. I didn't come to Reinhardt for math, but some quick calculations told me that was about 3 books a week. Sure, some were longer than others, but that's still not how I would use the word several in casual conversation. So I say, "Well, Dr. Farmer, 27 books is a little overkill, don't you think?" She says, "There are many great works. That's what makes Southern literature the most impressive and instructive genre." In a last-ditch attempt, I say to her, "But that's a lot, though." Anyone who's seen Dr. Farmer knows she has a characteristic eye roll when she's had enough. At this point, she'd had enough. She simply told me to take the class and see for myself. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you got tricked, but you don't know how you got there? That's where I was. I was compelled to take her class, and I didn't know why. I didn't need her class, but when I got in her class, it all became clear. You see, I wanted to coast to law school. Dr. Farmer wanted me to be excellent. She knew doing 27 books in a semester was challenging. It was supposed to be. She knew I was capable. I'd wager all of you have folks like that in your life right now. Professors, parents, coaches, others in your support system. They know you're capable. Do you know that too? Albert Einstein is credited with saying, "You should not pursue goals that are easily achieved. You must develop an instinct for what you can just barely achieve through your greatest efforts." That's how you build your character. That's how you test your mettle. That's how you prove to yourself that you are capable. Now, in typical English major fashion, we're going to go over the definition really quick. The word capable means to be able or to have the power to do something. It means to be qualified. Can I add something a little extra? It means that you are enough. Now, this word is an objective one, so to be capable can be both positive and negative. If you're not careful, you can be capable of things that will ultimately destroy you. Things like letting your ego get out of control. Things like being selfish or inconsiderate. Things like exercising poor judgment or having unchecked pride. During my second year of law school, I'd skipped several of my classes for reasons I'm embarrassed to recount now. Sometimes it was for a midnight release of my favorite video game. Do they still do that? Okay, all right. Sometimes it was to just go and enjoy the city of Charleston. Sometimes it was simply because I wanted to sleep in. I told myself, I'd done my whole first year and I made good grades, so it's fine, it's no big deal. I ended up with a lower grade than I'd worked for because I didn't know there was a secret attendance bump that you get. That's what happens when you're capable in the wrong direction. That's what happens when you don't consider the effect of your ego. But with proper introspection, you can be capable of some of the most powerful forces on earth. Things like courage and discipline. Things like extreme generosity. Things like humility that comes from remembering you can always learn something